What's up, SNA fans? This is Super Ninja Austin back here with another SNA podcast video. And yeah, this is the SmackDown review video on February 23rd, 2024, the go-home edition of Friday Night SmackDown, the pre-taped episode right before Elimination Chamber, which will be in a few hours from now, maybe in the next 6 hours, but we're just gonna make a video of SmackDown anyways, despite that, because I'm not probably gonna have a chance to watching it later on early in the early morning. I'm probably gonna wait until like later on, like late morning, early afternoon to watch it and make a review by that time. But while any more delays, we're gonna get started of watching SmackDown. It's like something basically basically typical, like they would usually would do with any pre-taped SmackDown. Like not that much segments, like mostly matches, like which there was plenty of, even though there was like 4 or maybe 5 perhaps. But without further ado, let's begin starting off with the first match, maybe the number 1 match of the night. I would have given it to the main event, but it kind of ended in a way that you would want it to. Like it was very I'm not sure if it was even necessary to the way they ended. They might as well should have had like some kind of a match fin. I know they were not trying to kill nobody's credibility and their momentum, like as we were going forward of becoming champions in their own respective rights. But I would say this is not the way to do it. Like you should have had like one of them lose like in a very screwy manner. Like it'll be better that way. Like if you're gonna have Cody Rhodes lose in the screwy manner, like you might as well have either of these men be in the same way. Well, but I'll say Drew McIntyre. Like Drew McIntyre couldn't afford to lose because he needs to continue that momentum. But at the same time, they needed to make both these men strong because like either of these men could win. But I'll say my money is obviously going on to the Scotsman. But yeah, we're going to talk about that in just a moment in the next with the first match of the night, which was Tiffany Stratton and Liv Morgan, which they start off at first we got Bianca Belair coming out first because she was watching it with the commentators, Wade Barrett and Corey Graves. This is where we got Liv Morgan and Tiffany Stratton came out soon after. This is where Tiffany Stratton tried to go for a headlock right on the Liv Morgan in the middle of the ring while they were grappling. But this is where Liv Morgan pushes her and off her towards the left-hand ropes. This is where she slides out of there when Liv Morgan tried to close on her out, but she missed by an inch. This is where Tiffany Stratton's like, hey, I'm okay. Like, it's still Tiffy time. Like, she can never touch me. I don't need this. Like, I made my debut like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and this is where she tried to walk out of there. This is where Liv Morgan's like, no, not that easy. And this is where she grabbed her from behind and throw her right. But anyway, this is where she Irish whipped Tiffany Stratton right to the bottom right corner, but this is where Tiffany tripped her over and land face first. Turnbuckle. This is where Tiffany Stratton tried to go for a pin, but this is where Liv Morgan kicks out at 2.2. This is where Tiffany Stratton's like, oh well, like nothing that matters. Like I could continue to beat the hell out of you. This is where she started doing so, but Liv Morgan tried to go for a right hand right into the midsection of the former NXT champion. This is where we got Liv Morgan start hitting axe handles and right fists right into the back and the head of Liv Morgan. This is where she whipped her and hit her face first right on the turnbuckle in the upper left-hand corner. And this is where she tried to go for a body slam. Liv Morgan immediately intercepted and hit a big backstabber, trying to go for a roll-up schoolgirl kind of pin, but she only got 2.1. This is where Bianca Belair was clapping away, like I believe sarcastically to Tiffany Stratton. She was like, "Yeah, I gotta give it." But she also was serious at the same time, like, "Oh, yeah, way to go! Like you're putting on a massive impression." But she's like, seriously, like you are putting some impressions in your match tonight with the former SmackDown Women's Champion. Well, she didn't say all that, but I'm just making my own version. Here, what's her name? Liv Morgan Irish whip Tiffany Stratton right to the upper left corner. This is where she hits a striking, a back elbow back strike right into the midsection of Tiffany Stratton. She tried to go for it again, but she gets hit with a Tiffany Stratton and hit a double foot stomp right onto her head and her face. She tried to go for a pin, but Liv Morgan kicks out at 2 even. This where Liv Morgan was barely breathing and trying to get back up and try to take a breather, which Tiffany Stratton barely let her got 5 seconds when she was getting up on her knees. This is where Tiffany Stratton picks up Liv Morgan. This is where she tosses her right onto the other side, into the lower right corner. This is where Tiffany Stratton caught her with a big clothesline to the right into the bottom right corner. This is where we got Tiffany Stratton to try to run right to the top rope corner. This is where she goes for a clothesline. But Liv Morgan caught her with a surprise with a crucifix roll up. But this is where she only got a 1.9 even. This is where Liv Morgan did try to go for the Bolivian, but I believe she missed her by a second, because this is where Tiffany Stratton rolled out of the ring right before she can even try to get prepared for the move. But this is where Liv Morgan's like, all right, bye-bye for now, honey. If you want to give me that count-out win, I'll take it. But even though it won't be my preference of my victory against you, but I'll take the win against you any day, especially for attacking me this past Monday on Raw, which she did. But even though she didn't say all that, but yeah, like I said, my rules, my rules, my video, my rules, but I want to make it sound more like exactly like it, but it'll be, and anything that you might want it to be, But yeah, let me know in the comments below if you want me to continue my version of explaining what exactly went on tonight, or tonight's SmackDown, for an example, or any other wrestling review that I do, for AEW or WWE. But this is where we got Tiffany Stratton trying to go for a headlock, trying to make her choke out. Well, Liv Morgan was not going to give up just yet, or any time. And she was bringing out so much. She gave so much. But she was giving out so much energy and so much. Gave a perfect impression on tonight's show on. Sorry about that. I need to correct myself. Tiffany Stratton did it again, put on a perfect impression she did in her SmackDown debut match with Mia Yim. And I can see why WWE immediately called her up in the main roster, even though I prefer her to be on Raw like everybody else did. I'll say not because the Lulu Kaiser's is her boyfriend, it's because she would fit in Becky Lynch and Liv Morgan like this, But it is what it is. Whatever show she's on, she's gonna put on an entertaining match, especially someone that's also gifted with talent as well. But we could possibly see Bianca Belair, especially what she did to her, especially what she did to her, on tonight's match, during she was fighting her. But I'm gonna get to there in just a couple of minutes. But anyway, this is where Liv Morgan fought out of her way of getting out of the headlock. This is where she started hitting strikes right onto her. This is where Tiffany Stratton tried to counter and started hitting strikes right back at her. This is where she runs right from the right over the upper corner ropes. This is where for herself, every woman for herself rules in their match tomorrow night, more likely tomorrow morning in America, of course. But anyways, this is where Liv Morgan then hit right onto Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton right into the gut. This is where this is where Liv Morgan runs right onto the bottom corner rope, but she gets kneed by Tiffany Stratton. This is where Tiffany Stratton tried to run away, but she pulls her back. This is where she's trying to hit her with a move, but she gets instantly elbowed right into the face of the former NXT Women's Champion. This is where we got what else? But this is where, she tried to charge right back at Liv Morgan, but this is where Liv Morgan ducks. This is where she went right to the bottom right. This is where she hits the upper corner. This is where she hits the shoulder block. She has the second shoulder block running through the bottom, and then the kick right in the gut, and the pump kick, and the step up into Giri, right afterwards. This is where she kip up, as soon as both of them fell down, with the bottom left corner. This is where Bianca Belair's that's right. That's right, sis, Liv. Give it to her. This is where she was, while she was cheering her on. This is where Liv Morgan then went right to the upper right corner. This is where Liv Morgan's what else? What other move I should go for? Which she decided to go for that elbow to the elbow and hip back into the midsection of Tiffany Stratton like she did earlier. And then a Shining Wizard knee strike afterwards. This is where she pushes her right onto the middle of the ring. This is where she goes for right on the mid ropes and hit a flying mid rope face breaker. This is where she tried to go for a pin, but this is where Tiffany Stratton stays alive at 2.2 or no, it wasn't 2.4. Which I'll say maybe 2.4, but this is where Liv Morgan's like, "Are you serious?" Like, even though that's my signature move, but that move hardly gets kicked out. Like at the same time, this is where she tried to go for Oblivion, but this is where Tiffany Stratton then intercepted and hit a big pop-up spine buster right into the middle of the ring, right? And this is where she tried to go for a pin on Liv, but Liv kicks out at 2.8, I believe. And this is where Tiffany Stratton was like, "Oh, come on!" Like that was it right there. Like this is where Liv Morgan's like, "Nope." Like putting more on the tank where that came from, which I'm not sure where exactly it came from. But yeah, take that out of our minds. But this is where Liv Morgan then drags Tiffany Stratton right onto the upper right corner. This is where she tried to go for that triple dip, formerly known as that double dip moonsault. Like, well, I'll say not like double dip, like you're dipping your chips onto the dip, but you know what I mean. You get the point. Like it's that I'll say that the triple decker springboard moonsault maneuver that she used to do a double with. But this is where Liv Morgan gets out of the way, moves right back. This is where Liv Morgan's like, "Really?" When I thought that she was gonna actually kick out of that. This is where Liv Morgan then picks up Tiffany Stratton, but Tiffany Stratton hits the jawbreaker right onto the former SmackDown Women's Champion. This is where Liv Morgan tried to go for another face breaker, which she already did that move, and you know the rules. Like if you already hit your finishing move, it won't be a guaranteed the second attempt like afterwards. But this is where Tiffany Stratton then charging right at Liv Morgan by putting her head right between her legs and then hit a cartwheel, picks her up on her shoulders and her head, and Alabama slams her, which I believe that is her signature move. This is where she goes for a pin, but she only got a 2.99999999999999999 double triple nine minus 0.1 away from being 3. Bianca Belair's like, wow, like she literally just kicked out of that move. I thought she might get it, like just by just with the 3. Like, and this is where I thought she might get it. Like, even though it didn't completely knock her out, but I thought she would probably get it. And like with this, like with that move. But this is where then Tiffany Stratton tried to go for it again and think that triple dip moonsault is going to be a guarantee, but it seems like that wasn't the case. I believe she was kind of double cursed, or even though I'll say technically she didn't reverse it, she just intercepted. So I would say like just intercepted and not like move or put her knees up right on when she was doing the moonsault. But I'll say it was a curse and a half. But this is where Liv Morgan then. That's where Liv Morgan came up and springboard her right and did a sunset flip when she stopped her from hitting the moonsault. Even though it kind of botched Tiffany Stratton let go of the ropes in the last minute, but they still managed to execute it perfectly, I guess you could say. Like the way they landed the move, this is where she only got a 2.8, but this is where Tiffany Stratton rolled out of the ring. This is where Liv Morgan tried to collect her back and throw her back in the ring, but this is where Tiffany Stratton grabs onto her and throws her face first right onto Audi and announced it. Tiffany Stratton's like, "What are you looking at, EST?" And this is where she slapped her across her face. But this is where Bianca Belair did not take that lightly because she was absolutely triggered. And why wouldn't she, in a way? Because you do not put your hands on somebody like at all whatsoever. But yeah, but in Bianca's case, she did not like hands in the face. That I'm gonna tell you that right there. Like she definitely did not. Whether if you're blocking her and putting it right under her face, or you're slapping across, because the last two women that she crossed paths with in WWE a few years ago, or one of them was a few years ago. The other one was last year, running that the hard way, when she KOD'd the absolute sugar honey iced tea out of them. But it looks like she would have done that to Tiffany Stratton tonight if it wasn't for that lousy referee. But this is where Tiffany Stratton was like, "Oh, we don't like that, do you?" And this is where Bianca Belair tried running. Like, "No, I'm not. Like, come back here, you little brat. Like, get in there. I get back in. I get back out here so I can show you like what." When I show you what a whiplash really looks like, and this is where the referee was like, "Hold on, Bianca, you're not not part of this match. Like you're not in this match. Like so, you need to stay down and stay sitting next to commentate with the commentary." And this is where Bianca was like, "I don't give a damn about that or anything you're saying right now. I just want to get my hands on Tiffany. She did exactly what provokes me. It's hands in my faces. I do not like hands." And this is where Liv Morgan then goes for the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the surprise roll. That's where it took the referee a second, like about, I believe, 2 extra seconds, like before he can even count. Like this, like which Liv Morgan probably would have won, like if he wasn't distracted with Bianca Belair, like because Liv Morgan could have won with 4, even though there's no 4 counts in wrestling in general. But this is where, yeah, Tiffany Stratton kicks out at I'll say 2.89. I'll say 2.9. This is where she pushes her right onto Bianca Belair, which actually spears Belair right out of the ring in the right corner side. This is where Tiffany Stratton hits her version of the surprise roll, pinning Liv Morgan's legs back for the 1, 2, 3. And your winner of this match, Tiffany Stratton. Even though it has a very silly, goofy ending with her hitting Simon's favorite maneuver, but it still was a pretty entertaining match, and this is why it's getting the number 1 spot. Even though you would expect me to give the McIntyre versus Knight spot the number 1 spot, but I would say the match ending was very odd, if you ask me. Like it was like unusually I'll say not horrendous or bad, but I'll say was unusually odd. I'll say, yeah, very odd. But this is where But anyway, we're speaking of Drew McIntyre. This is where we got a backstage interview with Caleb Braxton asking Drew, like, where is his head at? Is for being one hell of a week, like, because he has the Elimination Chamber that he has to worry about, like, because if he wins, then he gets a shot at Seth Rollins' World Heavyweight Champion, which that give him a ticket of that could lead him a ticket of finally finishing his story of winning in front of a crowd, even though the crowd would not be happy with him though. But he probably would do so, whether if he's a heel or face. But this is where Drew McIntyre's like, yeah, there's like every twist and turns of me thinking about this match and every moment of heartbreak, like and the greatest love of wrestling, like it's dysfunctional relationship like that tolerates me is like not as much as I needed, like nothing. It was all in vain. Like if I lose my entire career, like it's about as useless. And what would be the point of coming back here since back here in 2017? Like in my career, and what's the point? Like it'll be more useless. Start cracking up because this is where because he like is much more than Dominic Mysterio does, but this is where we got Bobby Lashley cracking up, saying like, "Yeah, that's very funny, Lashley. Like what you saying?" And this is where Drew McIntyre's like, "Oh yeah, like this is what Bobby was, yeah, like I get what you say. Like you had all this hypes and then bouncing and pop, like you didn't get hurt, like you say, like saying, CM Punk, CM Punk's dreams is dead and all, but I couldn't help but notice it's almost as comical as WrestleMania 37, and it's where he started continuing to chuckle right before he left him sooner, because if I do, he will not be able to even step foot inside the chamber. If I ever get my hands on him before I do a chamber, or even before Karrion Kross do, which I believe Karrion Kross beat him too. Considering the Street Profits taking on the Authors of Pain later on the show. But we're going to get to that in just a moment, which I'll say that was very entertaining as well. Like, it deserves 3rd place in the best match of the night. But yeah, I was thinking like, yeah, like he just referenced the time like he ruined his. It was one off, like or 2 off, I should say, considering it was 2 nights, like at that year's WrestleMania as well. Like this year, last year, and the year before, and the year before that WrestleMania. But I would say, what I was saying? Oh yeah, but I would say Bobby Lashley did crush those dreams. Like he was like, yeah, like it's like, but he was saying like, yeah, that's like me, what I did to you. Like we did to CM Punk at the Royal Rumble, taking him out and not him be able to achieve his dreams in main event WrestleMania. Like I did exactly the same thing to you when I retained my WWE Championship at WrestleMania 37. Like when you were trying to win it right back. But yeah, what are your thoughts on Bobby Lashley's comments? Which I believe they're saying this is just a tease and nothing more than that. But let me know in the comments below. Anyways, but let's this is where we got Rhea Ripley. This is where we got This is where we showed they showed something like with Rhea Ripley and Nia Jax at the press conference, which I don't know how they did this. I don't know how they did this. Even though I don't know how to, even though they have some pretty good editing, of doing on tonight's Friday Night SmackDown, but at the same time, I don't know how they do that. That's pretty fresh and phenomenal the way they put they edit out the